Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome back to Grade 10 Religion here at St. Augustine Secondary School. I hope everyone's having a good day today. Weather's nice and sunny. And we're going to learn actually about some things that Catholics are doing in other parts of the world that are also very sunny today. All right, looks like we got a big group here. Just wait another 20 seconds or so. Before we start, I'd like to remind the cohort A that we're in yesterday to be sure to complete your play pose it. Okay, there's a couple people have started already, and today we're going to have the first one. So the play pose its, I believe we finished now. There doesn't seem to be any more play pose it from the first round. Okay, with the parables and miracles. If for some reason you have finished it and it did not come into rotation, send me a message or something, or we'll try to figure it out. But as far as I understand, all the completed ones have been done. Okay. And now we move on to the second half of the course, where we have a new set of play poses that you're working on, and hopefully you'll be finishing. Cohort B, you will be working on them on Friday. Okay, so don't worry about what I'm talking about at the moment. But for cohort A, let's get those in. And it's time to begin. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Okay, so we will start with the first student play pose it of the second series, the ethical dilemmas. The one that I did yesterday was an example. And I believe today we have Basma, and the first play pose it there. So I'm going to assign that right now and give you a few minutes. These are slightly longer than the miracles and parables, 5 or 6 minutes as opposed to just a couple. But that's okay. That's a good time regardless, okay? I hope you enjoyed the entertaining episode Basma has put together for you. Okay, so head over to Play Pose It, and we'll see you in about 6 or 7 minutes. Looks like everybody had a chance to finish that. Wasn't that interesting? All right, so this new series of Play Pose It, you're choosing from these episodes, ABC Network, What Would You Do? Okay, and you're looking at, there's a lot of episodes to choose from, so make sure when you make your choice, though, before you make your choice, you check the comments on the post. Okay, everybody's putting their choices there, and then you don't pick one that's the same. Again, this is for cohort A. Cohort B, you don't know what I'm talking about. You will find out on Friday when you come into class. Okay, so don't worry about this right now. Just enjoy these new style of play poses. This one was particularly interesting, and I've been just going through some of the comments here on the discussion. There's some really good points, but I think you guys most of you agree with the gentleman in the video that truth is the most important part here, not the values of the ring or whatever, but that being honest up front is the basis of a solid relationship. Okay, and this is from our Catholic social justice teachings. This plays very well into the theme of relationships and community, and being honest and truthful with one another, and not worrying so much about the material things, but rather about the honesty. And I think that's the big issue here. Okay, very well done. Okay, so I've chosen this series for the second half of the course because we are going to focus a little bit on ethics and ethical dilemmas, okay, as part of the Catholic social justice teaching. Now we are dealing with charities when it comes to the CPT, and that's a huge part of being ethical and acting and doing something, okay, doing something for others. So action is the number one criteria in Jesus's story. Okay, Jesus didn't just go around preach about being a good person and sticking up for just causes. He actually acted, right? He acted. He protested. He did all. He got in trouble, and in the end, he got arrested and put to death. So there's some serious implications for us, all of us as Catholics and people of faith, to act upon our beliefs. Okay, and these episodes are great for that, because they set it up and they show this ethical situation and how do people react, how do they react and what action do they take. I'd also like to just take the second now to speak about the Sutori. The Sutoris are now due, okay? They need to be done by the end of the week so that I can correct them and include them for your midterm mark. You will have a official midterm mark. It's coming out early next week, so I have to get the marks in this weekend, and I will go through the blog posts, any worksheet, the play post-its I will update, and whatnot. So I'm going to update everything that I can find, and the Sutori assignment will be included in the midterm. Okay, so you do have a couple more days to finish that off. I'm not going to load up a lot of work, just a couple more blog posts or something, and give you time to finish that. Those who have finished already, good for you. Okay. So I have a question here. Yes, a question. Great. How to send? So the Sutori on the website, there's a place. I forgot exactly how it looks like. Maybe if I have a chance later, I'll take a screenshot. But there's a place where you can share. You can get a link to it. Okay, so you don't download it. You just link to it. Okay, you got to make sure that it's public and then you can share it. Okay, so I will look at adding to the post further instructions. Okay, sometime between now and Friday, how you can hand that in. All right, so let's get back to regular programming for today's lesson, and today we're going to take a closer look at a Catholic. A Catholic organization. I hesitate to call them a charity because they're more than a charity. They also do. They spread the word. They go into schools. We have them here at St. Augustine. Come in very often to hold sessions, seminars, retreats, and stuff like that. Okay, so this organization is called Development and Peace. It's a large organization, and I want to highlight them today because they are a perfect example of a Catholic organization that is meeting all the requirements of the Catholic social justice teachings. Okay, and if you ever decide one day that you may want to participate in this organization or something similar, it's a good place to start. Okay, so we're going to take a look at that at Development and Peace. All right. So I'm going to share. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. Let me. Right. And then we're also going to cover. We're going to cover a part of the curriculum. It's called moral decision making. So, what are the 3 steps that you must take when you are faced with an ethical dilemma? Kind of like the ones in the play poses that we're going to be seeing for the next couple of weeks. Okay, like those "What would you do" episodes. Well, there are 3 steps that Jesus, by his example, taught us, and we continue to learn. Okay, so first, let me share the Development and Peace. Okay, let's see who they are. All right, hopefully you can see this now. Okay, so we're going to take a quick look at who this organization is and what they're about, and then we're going to look at some things that they do, but I'm going to cover the 3 steps of moral decision making, okay? All right, so they're celebrating quite a long time of work and being involved in here in Canada, okay? That's many years, 5 decades of working and to support communities, both in Canada and internationally. Okay, they do a lot of international work, which I think you guys will find very interesting. Okay, let me just scroll down a bit more here. It's kind of scrolling really slowly. No scroll. Okay, here we go. A little too much scroll. Okay. So they focus on these 4 areas. Okay, they have feminist issues. Okay, issues that deal with women, because in many places in the world there are still big differences between the treatment of between genders. Something called ecological justice. Okay, so that has to do with ecology and taking care of resources and things like that. But then there's the concept of peace and reconciliation, and you can imagine that deals a lot with like the warring parties around the world. And finally, democracy and being able to participate in government. Okay, very important. That's something that they promote quite a bit. Okay. Oh, I want to skip number 4 here. Okay, so here's number 4. So, some the areas of focus: Africa, Asia, Latin America, Middle East. Okay, education is a big thing that they do in Canada. So, like I said, they go into schools and whatnot, right? And run seminars and programs. You'll probably run into them at some point in your career at St. Augustine here. Okay, and fundraising. Fundraising is obviously a big deal. Okay, and they do fundraise quite well. You'll see in a bit how much money they raise. Here are some of the figures that what they've accomplished, okay, over the last 50 years. Take a look at these, folks. This is very interesting accomplishments. Okay, they've got a large membership that are constantly active and out there doing things. And you could join Development Peace, and you could travel to different parts of the world and live in the communities for a short period of time, and contribute and work for them. You can work for them. Okay, it can be like a job, right? Working and doing these things all over the world. It's very interesting. So they obviously attract a lot of people, and they do a lot of things. Okay, I'm going to skip this part here. This is more like how they're organized. Okay, but notice how they put the members at the top. They put the members, which are the people that do the work for, the working people, like volunteers or people that work for even for money. But the management and the boss and all that of the organizations at the bottom. It's a very interesting chart. Okay, it's not usually like that in most organizations. It's the other way around. Okay, there we go. We got some campaign posters from the last 2 years here, last couple of years. Okay, very effective. Okay, I'm just gonna. Here we go. This is from a few years ago now, 3 years ago. Look how much money they invested, that they were able to invest in different communities. That's a lot of millions. Okay. Oh, they even got Facebook followers. Look at that. Nice number there. Okay. I will post this for you if you want to go back and review. Now here is some of the hands-on work they do and the places they do it in. You'll notice it's mostly this kind of, if you can draw a line across the world, north and south, you'll see most of the work is in the south. So if you drew a line horizontally, the way we view our maps, okay, the north at the top, south at the bottom, it's mostly southern areas of the world, okay? There's a reason for that, and we'll get to that in a second. Here's some project examples, okay? So, for example, in Afghanistan, they're working with a local organization, okay, to advocate for women's rights. Right? They've trained 800 people to become advocates, including 200 imams, or they would be like the equivalent to priests, and youth as well. Okay, so they have this model where they train people, then those people train other people. Okay, 16 working community groups in Afghanistan have started because of this program. It's fantastic. Here's an ecological justice example. Okay, in Haiti, all right. First of all, educate, right? Provide knowledge, promoting cultural rights and to reduce poverty. But most importantly, they have benefited over 1,000 students and 500 families directly, okay, with aid. So to be able to improve their situation, okay. A peace and reconciliation example, Iran and Syria, okay, helping to enhance security, provide security. So, you know, bring in people to establish, right, safety. Okay. 80 young activists, amazing. Okay, right, 80 young activists have been directly working. Democracy and citizenship, okay? So this is interesting too. Make sure that, you know, here in Madagascar, for example, an election that would have, you know, may not have gone so legitimately had a group like Development Peace come in and work to, you know, watch things that are being done properly, votes are counted properly, things like that, okay? Maybe they should go to the US in November, right? And help make sure things are legitimate over there and done properly. I'm sure there will be. Okay. So as you can see, there's the percentages of how much, what they've done. And so 50% is a huge part of this democracy and citizen participation, making sure that people have a say in how they're governed. Okay. All right. Move down here some more. Oh, now I just want to point out here the expenditures. If you notice, they bring in a lot of money. So, for example, in 2016-17, they brought in $41 million. That's a lot of fundraising. Okay, they spent $35 million. Okay, on international programs and $3.5 million in Canada. So about $40 million was spent. How much goes to their costs? Well, if you look at the little circles on the right, you'll see about 5%, which is the purple. 5% governance and operations. You know, I mean, you need to pay the people who run this organization, the workers, pay for the buildings or whatever they supply. But it's very low percentage-wise. 95% of the money raised goes straight towards the programs. And that's excellent. That's an excellent record. Okay. So if they've raised 41 million, and operational costs are, you know, 4 million, 4.5 million, that still leaves, you know, over 35 million of that went to the programs and the people in need. Amazing, amazing organization. Okay, sponsored and promoted by the church. Okay, and main financial sources, they do get money from the government. They also get from Share Life. So this is when you have a collection at church. Those of you who have families who attend mass, and there's, you know, your parents put money in the envelope for Share Life. or we at work here, Catholic school, we have Share Life. Teachers contribute, every semester, something, right? They collect a big amount of money for that too. Okay, and then they just in other ways, they have a few other ways. Okay, so that's development and peace, and I want to highlight them because they are directly connected with Catholic Church, and in that case, promoting and doing the works that Jesus calls us to do. Okay, so before I get to the assignment, because you're going to be looking at development and peace a little closer and what they do in different parts of the world. Okay, let me show you. Let me show you their latest campaign, which is their latest campaign on COVID. Just here's a quick look. Okay, what are they doing right now in terms of this corona situation? Okay, so check this out. It's called Recovering Together. They've got, and here they pay someone to create this nice website and make this beautiful thing, which is very good. Okay, so Recovering Together. All right, let's have a quick look here at this video, what they're doing with the COVID situation. Turn up the volume, please. Okay, so two things that get me there. First of all, it's the part about the local governments in some of these southern communities taking advantage of the situation. Okay, so you've got communities where many people in the community are ill or recovering from COVID, and there's the government coming in and taking out some of the resources that they normally, even by law, aren't supposed to be doing for the indigenous communities. And here's an example of how participating in democracy and being able to participate in government is such an important thing. We don't see that as much here. I mean, we do have the same issues here to a lesser extent, but definitely in some of these places in the world where the local people don't have those opportunities to participate in government, and the government often does things that it's in their interest and not in the interest of the local community. So, there's something that strikes me, and that goes right against the Catholic social justice teachings of community and participation. And then we also have this concept of the global South. What is this global South? Why is a Catholic charity focusing so much on the southern part of the world and the southern hemisphere? Okay, well, I'll show you why. Okay, and I'm going to briefly speak to this, and then you're going to look at this a little bit later on your own. Okay, you look at the map of the world, the way it's been drawn by European explorers and cartographers, and this is the map that we are used to. Okay, you'll notice that the northern part of the world is on top here, the southern is on here, and it just so happens you could draw a line straight across, and you'll get pretty much this top area will be the richer areas of the world, and then for the most part, most of the wealth is up here, okay, and not as much as here. Big difference. And these are the peoples that colonized the areas down here. Okay. And what I mean is people from this European continent or up here traveled out and conquered the indigenous populations, taking back with them all the wealth and value, lots of wealth and value. Okay, that's why when you go to Europe, you travel to Europe, you see magnificent richness, right? You see grand buildings and just amazing sights and things and lots of wealth, but that's on the backs of what they took from the people in the South. Okay, so the people, the indigenous communities here who were living, I mean, they were not, they were living their own societies, and they had their own systems, and they didn't have the ravages of winter and whatnot, to develop technology, right, to deal with harsh climates, because their climates are, for the most part, weren't harsh. I mean, some areas, sure, but they were deserts and whatnot. But I mean, we've been to Nicaragua many times, and it's just gorgeous, right? All year round. So in places like that, it's plentiful. It's easy to grow crops and things. You don't have to develop technologies to conquer harsh climates, but here you do, right? In the north here. So these technologies helped the Europeans advance to be able to travel and show up with these technologies and diseases, that they brought to very quickly, relatively conquer these areas and make them poor, really, right? So there's that big problem, that north-south problem, and that's why today Catholic and faith organizations from all over the world focus on the South, the global South, and that's what this is, right? This area under here, okay, Central America, South America up here, Africa here, South Asia, and there's a lot of countries, a lot of areas there that just, they everything was taken from them, and now they're struggling, right, to catch up. Okay, right. So before I get to that blog post assignment today, I'd like to go over the 3 steps to making an ethical decision. Okay, so let me share that with you now. 3 steps to making an ethical decision, and this presentation is called See, Judge, and Act. See is step 1, judge, step 2, and step 3 is act. Okay, so let's just quickly we'll go over these here. All right, let's see. Here we go. So I won't obviously ask you to answer this, but some questions like to keep in mind. How do you respond when natural disaster strikes, or if there's a war situation, or when crisis happens in your community, or if there's injustice? How do you respond? Okay, or how do the adults in your life or around you in the community respond? Okay, so you can imagine, there's a natural disaster, money's collected, some people actually go in and help volunteer and do things and whatnot, right? Some of these situations we don't have as much on a large scale here. I mean, we as Canada hasn't been at war for many generations, so we don't know what that's all about. Okay, but there's certainly some injustice. But what about around the world? Are you aware of these things that are happening? Are people talking about it? Are the adults in your life talking about injustices? Okay. Well, The Catholic Church will teach this 3-step process: see, judge, act, and this is how we are taught to respond. So for example, let's say an earthquake happens, famine strikes, or a violent conflict erupts. Okay, you want to respond first of all as quickly as possible, but it's very important not to skip the first 2 steps. Okay, if you skip the first 2 steps of seeing and judging, then the last step is going to run into a problem. A, you might not know how to act, or B, how you act will end up in a bigger problem. Okay? So, step 1, recognize and look at the key things that are happening, okay, and the conditions that are going on. Like, what's happening, right? You need to be aware of what's going on. And this is the soil. Okay, so if you look at this picture, there's like this tree, right? This grass here. This is the dirt. Okay, you have to look at the dirt and ground yourself in and get informed about what's going on. Okay, that's what the soil represents. It represents like the environment where the issue is happening. Okay, what does that look like? Right. Okay. And then next is judge the situation, okay, and take a look at what's happening and apply the learning that you have, the things you have learned about ethics and ethical decision making. So here, when you get to grade 12 religion, and you can also take philosophy as well, one of those courses, you will learn a lot about the ways to judge situations. Okay, so in the what would you do video today, I mean, it's a simple kind of a much more simplistic problem, right? It's a fake ring, what do you do? So if you're the person watching, you're looking at what's happening, and then you judge. And those 2 gentlemen at the end, they clearly judged that this boy was doing something wrong. Okay, and that's based on the ethical teaching of honesty. Okay, so you look at what's happening, you judge it to be right or wrong, and then finally you act. Okay, you make an action. I'm just going to skip down the presentation a little bit here. It's a little slow. Today. What's going on with the Wi-Fi here at the school? Okay. And what's interesting is, Jesus taught us, do not judge, right? So like, what, sir, that's so confusing, right? Do not judge. But here you're saying we should judge. But it's a different kind of judgment, right? What Jesus is talking about is don't treat other people based on your judgments. Okay, of course, we're all going to, have our own view of right and wrong when we see someone doing something. Okay, but there is a real right and a real wrong, and that's what this step is asking you to do, is to work hard at figuring out the proper right and wrong. Okay, according to your faith, right? Yeah. But Jesus asks us not to take our judgments and treat other people based on them. Okay, I mean, it's one thing though, if you judge a situation as wrong, yes, we're supposed to act. Jesus thought it was wrong for the business people to be selling stuff at the church, right, at the temple. So he went and flipped all their tables around. He saw what was happening. He judged it to be wrong, and then he acted, right? He went and protested. But he protested their action, the situation, but not their person, right? He didn't he didn't go to each person and say, you're a terrible person. He was protesting what they were doing, okay? And there's a big difference there, okay? A really big difference, okay? So the judgment is based on the right or wrong of actions, okay, and the right or wrong of a situation, and not judging personal character. Not, you want to assume everybody is worthy of love and respect, right? But their actions are wrong, maybe wrong, right? Their actions need correcting. Okay. And speaking of action, here we go. We'll get to the action part. If I could scroll it down some more. Oh, there we go. Okay. What a great quote. Okay. Right? Never mind the talk. It's the act. Okay. So there's a lot of talk, right? You go to the high school cafeteria, under normal circumstances, it's full of teenagers, and at every table there's talk, and some of it's gossip and some of it's nonsense, and some of it might be nice, some of it might be great, but really what's really important is the truth and how people act towards each other. Okay. So so how do the people negatively impacted see the situation? Okay, so you got a situation, something that's happening in the world or in their community. You got to look at all sides, right? The people doing the thing, the people are getting affected. What's the reason for this happening? Because sometimes what may look wrong might not be wrong. What may look right might not be right. So it's very important to dig deep. Okay. Okay, so we have, there's a difference between charity and justice. So charity provides something immediately, like, for example, you give someone a little money to go buy food or something that they need right away. But justice is working on the entire system so that it can promote people's well-being. Okay, so if there is something in place that is keeping people from being able to be their best, then that is something that is an act of justice. Okay. Okay. So then, and then of course we restart, right? We restart and we go back, and it's like a circle. We're always looking, judging, and acting. Okay. And then, of course, evaluating. So this is the kind of process that Development and Peace does as an organization. So if you're a member, or if you're working for them or volunteering for them, that's what they're doing, right? Is they're always, their job is to go and find things that are happening, discover what's right and wrong in the situation, and then finally do something about it. Send some people there to do something about it, and then start again. So from all the fruits of this labor, okay, what we have is we have this map over here, and these are all the spots that Development and Peace is currently working in. Okay, oops, right. So what I'm going to ask you to do for blog post number 8, so we've got blog post number 8 coming up, is I want you to pick one of these areas here and go through the information, what they're actually doing in that particular place, and then post what they're doing, and post why you think it's good, why you think it's important. Okay, and then include a nice picture or something. So for example, let's have a look at this first one up here. Where is this? Did you guess right? It's Haiti. Okay, not Cuba, which is right kind of next to it there. That's Cuba, where we may go on vacation one day, okay, if you haven't been. But there's Haiti right next to it. Let's have a look at what Development and Peace, what are these Catholics doing in Haiti? Okay. Right, they're talking about Haitian chickens here. What's happening? Okay. So if you read this, if you wanted to pick Haiti, you would read, and you would and you could also skip here to the video as well and watch the video. Okay, let's do that together. We'll just.
travers le monde, la pauvreté ne cesse de s'agrandir et Haïti, c'est un cas patent. Et comment résoudre ce problème? Ou bien on fait du business, donc purement financier, ou bien dans le monde social, c'est purement social. Et comment maintenant résoudre ce problème de pauvreté? C'est se retrouver vers le milieu. À savoir, on a parlé de responsabilité sociale de l'entreprise, on a parlé de génération de revenus du monde social. Donc on se rapproche beaucoup plus vers le centre, à savoir l'équilibre, comment l'obtenir en quelque sorte. Donc c'est le monde du secteur privé qui commence à utiliser le social et le monde du social qui commence à parler de profit.
Moi j'ai une famille, parce que moi j'ai un mari et puis moi j'ai deux petits. Là, utile, c'est pas moi seulement l'utile, mais moun k'ap vend yo, mesdames k'ap vend pour yo, l'utile yo en pile parce que premièrement, yo vend pour là, li minime pour moun yo, côté yo même yo content, mesdames yo content les acheter, c'est avec li tout yo fait ti bénéfice pour yo occuper ti moun yo, pour yo mettre ti moun yo l'école et tout le temps y a félicité nous pour ça. Grâce avec pour la moi-même tout, il fait moi envie de temps en temps envie acheter poule et puis envie manger poule tout.
Pour nous autres, l'économie sociale et solidaire, c'est une forme d'accompagnement aux producteurs, c'est une mobilisation des producteurs et des productrices, c'est le travail avec notamment les associations paysannes pour que ces dernières arrivent évidemment à développer tout ce qu'elles ont comme potentialité, tout ce qu'elles ont comme possibilité pour produire dans de meilleures conditions, bien entendu, mais également générer des revenus qui puissent contribuer à répondre à certains besoins auxquels ces organisations font face. S'il n'y a pas d'alternative économique, il n'y aura pas possible d'améliorer les conditions de vie, et cette recherche d'alternatives, il faut bien qu'il y ait des expériences.
Élevage poulan, li mande premier bagay li besoin faut qu'on remen poule yo. Faut qu'on remen poule yo d'abord parce que poule yo tout, yo remen ou tout. Parce que c'est où yo ouais, c'est où yo connaît, c'est où yo ouais chaque jour. Si ou ta vle quantité zéa, li stable, si ou ta vle pas varier, mais faut qu'on même pour stabiliser lait que ou qu'on habitué ba yo manger avec de l'eau à tout. Si 6 heures a passé ou négliger ou pas venir ba yo manger comme ça, ou pas besoin une quantité zé ou te espérer à tout parce que c'est de l'eau avec manger que ou ba yo c'est ingrédients ça qui former zé, qui aider ou former zé et pour capable pondre zé et comme ça ou même pour capable joindre une quantité zé et pour business ou capable bien marcher.
Aujourd'hui, nous sommes capables de dire la nati, on s'est révolté contre nous. L'aime dire la nati, et si nous prenons ça, garder les paysans, la majorité des gens qui vivent en milieu rural, c'est des gens qui attendent jardin, par exemple. Avec la saison climatique qui est aujourd'hui, côté sécheresse qui vient, ça fait que les gens ne pas produit en pile, ça fait que les gens sont obligés d'attendre de l'autre produit qui sortit et l'autre côté, spécialement la République dominicaine. Mais aujourd'hui à tout, je crois que de monde organisé capable de croiser bois pour regarder. Il faut regarder qui est capable de rentable aujourd'hui. Il faut regarder qui activité que nous sommes capables de mener, qui peut aider les gens, même si qui pas demander trop investissement. C'est vrai, on peut là comme ça, nous pas dire pas demander, il pas gagner un gros coup sur lui, mais dans l'expérience que nous faisons déjà là, il prouve nous que il y a des bagages nous avons fait. Depuis ou bien planifier l'activité, il y a des bagages qu'on fait, qu'on y a ça garder marché. Est-ce que qui côté produit a couler? C'est des produits premièrement qui sont capables d'écouler dans la communauté. Premièrement parce que c'est moun dans la communauté qui achète, qui mange, qui utilise et aujourd'hui il y a une possibilité tout avec market et il y a plus market, il y a plus hôtel. Ça veut dire parce que il y a deux possibilités pour gagner de produits qui écoulent la caille pour nous joindre marché. Mais Et c'est depuis nous prenons le soin pour ne pas envahir nous avec les produits. Et deuxièmement, depuis bien préparé dans des conditions que l'hôtel est capable de prendre.
Donc il faut une forte réflexion et un fort accompagnement pour que ce pays redevienne un pays producteur et qui permette une meilleure répartition des richesses. Donc je dis que c'est possible et c'est nécessaire pour l'indépendance économique et l'indépendance politique aussi de ce pays. Et je pense que l'économie sociale et solidaire est un outil qui peut servir tant au niveau économique qu'au niveau de la politique dans ce pays et on en a besoin effectivement comme outil.
C'est sortir du schéma conventionnel de travailler en silo avec son petit projet qui n'arrive pas vraiment à s'épanouir, à éclater et de construire collectivement vers la transformation de la communauté. Et quand la communauté se transforme par rapport à l'augmentation des services, l'économie se renforce, les actions sociales se renforcent, la solidarité se renforce, la fraternité se renforce et le vivre ensemble devient effectif à ce niveau-là.
Et nous avons démarché de modèles de comparaître Jérémy qui sont pareils.
Ça va permettre à tous les acteurs qui ont travaillé avec Développement et Paix de se mettre ensemble, de faire beaucoup plus d'échanges pour permettre à l'un de bénéficier de l'expertise de l'autre, mais du savoir-faire surtout de l'autre.
Le développement et paix est en train de créer une opportunité pour qu'Haïti soit à l'avant-garde, puisque ce n'est pas encore un concept développé trop dans les pays du tiers-monde. Haïti a bien compris tout cela. On faisait bien sûr de l'économie, on faisait de la solidarité. Maintenant, comment mettre tout ça ensemble et assurer l'équilibre social.
Okay, so as you can see, the chickens play a huge role in helping the people of Haiti rise up and become more self-sufficient. Okay, just being able to be allowed to grow the chickens, have money to start, being able to get a loan from a bank, something you can easily do here, much easier. You can't do so now. So development piece helps make that happen, and helping making sure the government puts things in place so they can sell these chickens and products. Okay, and that's just one industry, but it's a big one, right? So you would, for your blog post, you might want to look at a couple other videos, maybe read a little bit more about what they do. This place here, the situation, tells you exactly how they got to where they got. Okay, very interesting. Why they become, why was there a problem? Why is there a problem in Haiti? And read about what they do. And then you would post that. You would just summarize quickly what it is, put a paragraph. What is it that they're doing in that place that you've chosen? Okay. And then explain why you think it's a good thing. Okay. So we'll, I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to post that. I think it's already automatically posted. Okay. And then make sure you pick a place. Pick one of the places on the map, okay, for your blog post, and feature that. All right. So, are there any questions about today's blog post activity? Okay. Well then, I will let you go. Thank you very much, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, bye. So have a good day.
Bye bye.